Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of our new podcast, Grounded After Hours, hosted by Rosie, Dora, and me.
This is the show where we sit down with characters from the Grounded series and uncover behind-the-scenes stories, real-life discussions, and maybe even a little gossip.
We'll also have a special guest in every episode. To kick things off, we're joined by the creator of the series himself, Temodic Bounty.
Welcome to the podcast, Temodic.
Thank you. I'm happy to be your first guest.
It's been a while since you last grounded us. What have you been up to?
Speak for yourself. I'm still waiting for a solo, ungrounded episode that doesn't have you as the co-star.
I've got to admit, Caillou does have it pretty easy. He's usually always the one getting ungrounded, right?
What can I say? I'm clearly the favorite.
Moving on.
Honestly, I've been doing well. Real life has kept me busy, especially with changing jobs, so that's taken up a lot of my time. I haven't stopped working on the series, though. I'm currently making a new Grounded episode featuring Caillou and Rosie.
Finally, I'm safe for once.
Spoiler alert, guys. It's gonna be a really fun episode.
Definitely. It's honestly one of my favorite episodes I've written. It's a major and much needed revamp of my 2021 episode where Caillou turns his parents into ice cream.
How different will it be from the original episode?
The main idea is still there, but almost everything around it has been expanded or improved. The Scooby Gang is being introduced, and they play a major role in the story. I've also worked on the plot so that everything connects properly, and the original plot holes are fixed. The production is getting a big upgrade too. I'm improving the editing, the script, Rosie's voice, her proportions, and plenty of other details. It should feel much more polished than the 2021 version.
It seems like you're on a mission to remake your older videos. You've spoken about it in community posts before, but why is it so important to you?
I want to make it clear that I'm still proud of my older videos. They all mean a lot to me, and I still love the stories and ideas behind them. The remakes are more about giving those ideas another chance. Ever since I was young, I've wanted to create my own cartoon series. In fact, some episodes were inspired by cartoons I grew up watching, like Horrid Henry and SpongeBob, but I always tried to turn that inspiration into my own stories. My current series started becoming more connected as my videos improved and I began taking the stories more seriously. I put more effort into the world of Goville, the character development, and the way one episode connects to another.
Whereas the older episodes were more separate?
Exactly. A lot of the older stories were disconnected. You could watch them in almost any order, and some of them felt like episodes you might find on any Grounded video channel.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No, not at all. A lot of creators in this community inspire one another, and I've taken inspiration from other people too. That's completely fine when you give credit and make the idea your own, but I've had problems with people taking more than inspiration. Some people have directly re-uploaded my videos, while others have copied entire scripts without changing a single word. That can be frustrating because these episodes take a long time to write, produce, and edit.
So where do you draw the line between inspiration and copying?
If one of my videos inspires you, that's great. Take the basic idea and turn it into something that feels like yours. Copying my whole video without changing anything or barely anything isn't the same thing.
Apart from improving the connected story, as in the canon Grounded series, is there anything else you want the remakes to add?
I want more of the episodes to have a point or a lesson behind them. I'll still make fun episodes that don't have a serious message from time to time, but that isn't usually my main style anymore.
Some of the older episodes were basically just you grounding me for no reason.
That's true. I used to get plenty of comments accusing me of ruining people's favorite character.
I mean, they had a point.
Let's not get carried away. At the end of the day, it's a parody series. I've always made that clear in my video descriptions, comments, and channel bio. None of it is meant to be taken too seriously.
But did any of that feedback affect the way you write now?
Yes, one useful piece of criticism was that the characters shouldn't be grounded without a real reason.
Just like me in the past.
Over time, the characters just naturally began to develop.
I have another helpful suggestion. Make more ungrounded episodes about me.
Noted, Dora.
Staying on the topic of character development and what viewers expect from certain characters, there's been quite a bit of debate about that among fans. I was reading some of the comments, and the audience seems divided. Some people feel the videos are losing the classic GOANIMATE charm because they mainly want to watch Caillou get grounded. Other people don't want him grounded at all.
If you're one of those people in the second group, you have my full support.
Then there's Bob. Some viewers are unhappy that you redeemed him, while others want to see more of what they call good Bob. How do you handle so many different opinions?
The honest answer is that you can't please everyone. I understand why people feel nostalgic for the older style, and I do listen to fair criticism. At the same time, I have to decide what kind of series I want to make. It's about finding a balance. I want the audience to enjoy the episodes, but I also need to enjoy writing them. When viewers are asking for completely opposite things, there's no way to follow every suggestion.
Exactly. I think you're free to take his character in a different direction if you want to.
If I want to give him a redemption story, I can. That doesn't mean he suddenly has to be perfect. He can still be mischievous or make bad choices from time to time.
Just like the rest of us.
Exactly. The three of you can be grounded or ungrounded depending on what you do. Bob can work the same way.
I think you've already spoken a little bit about this, but I wanted to confirm, your series is separate from the other GOANIMATE YouTube channels, right?
Yes. My episodes have their own continuity. They aren't connected to the other grounded videos made by other creators.
You've changed established characters before, such as classic Caillou.
I have. I created my own take on classic Caillou, and people responded well to that story. I also introduced Matt and Nina as original characters, and viewers liked them too. I respect the classic versions of established characters, but I also want my series to grow and have its own identity. That's what keeps it fun for me, and hopefully for the audience as well.
Earlier, you spoke about remaking older videos. Which episodes would you like to revisit? And are there any you never want to touch again?
I'll answer the second question first. I have no plans to revisit the show and tell episode where Dora does the dab a full year after the trend had already ended. That would be like me making a 6-7 meme episode now after everyone has already moved on.
I would like that episode removed from the record.
Looking back, I've got quite a few episodes that don't make much sense to me anymore, such as the gorilla episode, which is funny because it was also the first episode I ever remade. Still, those videos are nearly a decade old, and I've grown a lot since then. I wouldn't completely rule out revisiting them, but they'd probably return as a small callback or be rebuilt around a very different idea.
Everyone has to start somewhere though.
Exactly. I wouldn't be making the videos I make today without those early episodes.
Which episodes are still being considered for remakes?
I'd like to rework some of the COVID-themed episodes as well as the murder mystery episode. I love the original and I still think it's badly underrated, but I also feel like it had more potential. Some parts feel rushed, there are a few editing mistakes, and I think the plot could be stronger. It's one of my favorite episodes, so I'd like to do it justice. It's the second Halloween video I have planned for this year after the ice cream remake coming out soon.
2 Halloween stories? You're definitely making up for lost time, which we'll get to in just a second.
That's the plan. I'm doing my best.
To wrap up our discussion about the remakes, from what you've said, they give you a chance to revisit your older stories and rebuild them to fit the current series and its canon. If viewers want to follow the official story in chronological order, they can do that through the canon playlist on your channel, right?
Correct. I created a canon episodes playlist on my channel, so people can watch the series in chronological order. It isn't complete yet because more episodes are still coming, but that playlist shows the current intended viewing order.
Over the past year and a half, your uploads slowed down before you returned to YouTube earlier this year. During that break, was the channel still on your mind?
Definitely. I know I don't upload as often as I used to, but it's been a very busy, life-changing 2 years for me. Sometimes you need to step back and focus on yourself, and that's what I had to do. The channel was always on my mind. In fact, I sometimes felt like I needed to upload even when I was burnt out. I kind of felt pressured in a way. I'm still busy, but overall I'm managing to balance things better.
Did you completely stop working on the series during the break?
Nope. Even when I wasn't producing or editing, I was still writing. I didn't have a total creative block. I came up with a lot of episode ideas, and some of them are now becoming actual videos. Most of my videos are planned months or even a year in advance. Some ideas have been sitting around for several years. I still polish the script when I begin production though.
Do the stories ever change while you're making them?
All the time. Sometimes I'll change a major part of the story halfway through production. For example, when I started making the Karen Gets Evicted video, Keith wasn't originally going to turn against Karen. That idea came later. I did take a different approach with the upcoming episode. I think this is the first time I completed the full script before starting production, but that has made the process much easier.
We know the episode is set on Halloween. Do viewers have to wait until Halloween to see it?
Oh my gosh, no! I know my videos can take a while, but this is a one-person production. You've got to remember that. I started this podcast so everyone has something to enjoy while they wait between one episode and another. Short answer is no. You won't have to wait until October. At least that's not the plan. We are getting close to the start of fall though, so the episode should be a fun way to kick off the Halloween season.
Moving on to production and editing techniques. You sometimes put us in front of a green screen. Can you explain to the viewers why you do that?
The green screen is just one of the many editing techniques I use. Wrapper Offline, which is based on GOANIMATE, is fairly basic and has its limits, so I use other editing software to bring certain scenes closer to what I have in mind. The green screen technique gives me more freedom to move the characters and backgrounds easily, all while reducing lag. It can also speed things up because I can see each change straight away instead of having to preview the entire scene after every adjustment and having to wait for it to load. There are loads of small details happening behind the scenes. Most viewers won't notice each individual edit, but all of them take time. That's one of the reasons my videos can take a while to finish.
And you're still doing everything yourself?
Yup, and I honestly want to keep it that way. I enjoy having full control over the videos. It can be a lot of work, but I'm proud of how much my editing has improved over the years.
What's the hardest video you've ever worked on?
I'd say it's a tie between 3. The multiverse episode, Caillou's 11th birthday episode, and the classic Caillou one.
Let's start with the multiverse episode.
I was working with Sense Labs at the time, so I created a story where Caillou and Dora traveled through different universes, each in which they had different art styles. I drew those styles using the tablet they gave me, which took quite some time.
What made my birthday episode difficult to work on?
That one had a very detailed story, so it took a long time to write, produce, and edit. It's also nearly an hour long, which made it a much bigger project than a normal episode. The classic Caillou episode was probably the worst production experience of the 3. It was one of the first episodes where I felt like my editing had reached another level. I put everything I had into it. Everything was actually going smoothly until the editing file became corrupted and I had no recent backup of it.
Ouch.
Very big ouch. I was halfway through the video when it happened, and I lost 3 long days worth of work. I also had a sponsorship on that video and had a tight deadline. I barely managed to make it, but I don't want to go through something like that ever again, to be honest.
Always back up your work, guys.
Have you had any other production disasters?
Nothing quite as bad as that. I did have another corrupted file without a recent backup, but I didn't lose nearly as much work.
What about mistakes that actually made it into the finished videos?
There are a few editing mistakes that make me cringe when I rewatch older episodes. They seem really obvious after the video has been released, but I somehow don't notice them while I'm working, especially when it's a longer video. But hey, no video is ever going to be completely perfect, even though I'd like it to be. I'm working on trying to pay closer attention to smaller details nowadays, though.
What's one thing that slows down production the most?
Definitely the voices. Sometimes a voice will stop working halfway through an episode. It's very annoying because I want every character's voice to stay consistent. If a voice stops working, I either have to find a way around it or use a substitute. I don't like doing that, but sometimes there isn't another option.
You've changed Dora's voice and mine, though. Even your voice sounds different from when you made cameos in the series.
For you and Dora, I upgraded the voices because the older ones weren't always clear, and some viewers may have struggled to understand you. They weren't complete voice changes, just improved versions. My situation was different because my original text-to-speech voice stopped working, so I had to replace it. Now that I'm halfway through making this episode, do I sometimes think the new voice sounds a little loud and very YouTuber-like? Maybe, but there's no going back now.
Out of curiosity, have you ever scrapped any ideas for the Grounded series?
Yes, although some of them weren't completely abandoned. I've started videos that never made it to the channel. For example, in late 2020, I started working on an Among Us episode. The problem was that at the time, I couldn't figure out where the story should go, so I eventually scrapped it. I did revisit the idea in 2023 with the murder mystery episode though.
At least the idea wasn't completely wasted.
Sometimes a video gets scrapped, but part of the idea can return years later in a much better story. That reminds me of another project that got scrapped, my Dora Grounded prequel series. It was originally supposed to come out in the fall of 2020.
Wait, I was supposed to have my own series?
I came up with the idea after making the wedding episode. That was the first time I made such a story-heavy episode, and I wanted to explore that world in more detail. In my old Grounded series, viewers had seen Dora acting bratty as a child, and then they saw the adult version of her in the wedding episode. I thought it would be interesting to go back and explain what started everything and why she behaved that way when she was younger.
Great. So I almost had my own prequel series, and now I'm barely even the main character anymore.
Oh, come on, you're exaggerating.
Boots would have been Dora's sidekick throughout the series. The plan was to make around 8 episodes with a completely different art style inspired by Phineas and Ferb. The Flash version of GOANIMATE, or should I say Beyond, had shut down at the time, so the animation would have been done by hand. And that was before I knew about Rapper Offline's existence.
8 fully hand-drawn episodes? Damn, that sounds like a lot of work.
It would have taken way too long, especially since it was supposed to be 2D animated rather than using 3D. Once I realized how much work was involved, it became very difficult to continue. The main story would also have been quite heavy, similar to the wedding episode, and even though that video became my most successful one with more than 2 million views, I've moved away from the story I created in it. My current stories are more lighthearted. I still want them to have emotion and serious moments, but I don't want everything to feel miserable.
Does that mean the wedding episode is no longer part of the current story?
That version isn't part of the current canon. I do plan to remake it once the Grounded series reaches its ending, but the new version will have a much lighter tone.
And were any of the episodes or concepts from the prequel stories reused?
Yes, some episodes would have focused less on the larger plot, and a few of those ideas were reworked for the current series. One example is the story of how you and Caillou became friends. So part of your prequel did survive after all.
Period.
A few of those ideas eventually found their way into the current series, although I can't remember every example off the top of my head. I'm just glad they didn't go to waste. There are also a few concepts that I haven't revisited yet, so I'd like to find the right place for them in future episodes. Some of the assets were reused in the multiverse episode, so they found a home too.
Speaking of the multiverse episode, I have to say that it's extremely underrated. I said what I said.
I second that. Are there any other episodes you feel should have performed better?
Definitely. The murder mystery episode is the first one that comes to mind. I'd also include Dora's alien episode and some of my more recent videos like the lottery video and the spelling bee one.
And if you had to choose one favorite episode, what would it be?
I honestly don't think I could choose only one. Any episode with Karen is automatically near the top of the list. I really like the episodes I made between the middle of 2023 and early 2024. I've been feeling nostalgic about that period lately, and I'd love to capture a similar feeling in future videos. And although I think the 2023 Christmas special is very wholesome, one of my favorites by the way, the one I put out in 2020 is just too funny. Even though it's not part of the current canon, I still have a soft spot for it. I reused part of its idea in the Chuck E. Cheese episode, but the original is still superior in my opinion.
Is there anything you wish you would have done differently in any of your videos?
Aside from excluding editing mistakes and perhaps rushing through the production of certain videos, there's one scene in particular that I would handle differently now.
Which is?
The Twitter/X joke which Dora makes when she meets Elon Musk. She allows him to rename her Nickelodeon show to Dora the Explorer in exchange for access to Area 51.
Let's watch the clip.
Elon Musk, is that actually you?
Yes. I came to visit Area 51 to check out my brand new SpaceX rocket ship.
Wow. Can I go on it?
I'm sorry, but who the heck are you to request access to Area 51?
If you let me into Area 51, I'll let you rename my Nickelodeon shows to Dora the Explorer with an X.
Hey, that actually sounds like a good deal. Come on in.
Yay! Thank you, Elon Musk.
I still think the joke itself is funny. My issue is that Dora gaining access to Area 51 was a major part of the story, and resolving it with one quick joke feels a little too convenient to me now. I take the canon and timeline much more seriously now, so small details like that stand out to me. There's also a continuity issue. In the multiverse episode, Stewie, from his actual universe, mentions that Caillou and Dora both have their own television shows. He never mentions the shows' names. Since they only exist in his universe, Elon Musk from the regular Goville universe shouldn't have known about Dora's show in the first place.
I interpreted the joke a little differently when we made that episode. Maybe he actually didn't know about the show, and I came up with the name myself. Once he heard its name, he saw an opportunity to replace another word with X and claim an existing title as his own. After all, it's Elon Musk we're talking about. He probably couldn't resist.
Good one, Dora. I actually really like that theory. But all jokes aside, I know I probably might be reading slightly too far into this. But when you create a connected story, you start thinking about details like this. That's just how the creator's brain works.
And last but not least, what kinds of episodes can viewers expect to see next?
Buckle up because this might be a long answer.
That's what we like to hear.
As we discussed earlier, my next video will be Halloween themed to kick off the fall season. After that, I'll probably work on remaking 2 older episodes that I've wanted to revisit for quite some time. There could possibly be another Halloween special, and I'm putting a lot of emphasis on possibly. I'd also like to make my first Thanksgiving special this year. Then I have a Bob-centered episode in mind, followed of course by a Christmas special.
Can we expect anything else beyond that?
Of course. I'd like to continue the multiverse and classic Caillou storyline to complete the trilogy. I also have a few other original stories planned.
That's quite a lineup.
And that brings us to the end of our questions. Thank you for joining us, Temodic.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
If you'd like to see more episodes of Grounded After Hours, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
Thanks for watching or listening. Have a great rest of your day.